am surprised that the 1/2 inch goes on the back of the frame as opposed to letting it in. What's the rationale for that, and why do I do it that way versus, say, dropping it into a rabbet?
It's just the look that you want. Like, we have this other sample. Let me bring this over. And in essence, what I've done here is exactly what you're talking about. We took, I always call it a rebating bit because that's what all the famous English guys call it, okay?
Right? Yeah.
I'm not a famous English guy, but I can sound like one. And I can actually say now I sound like one on TV, sort of.
So what am I, just a funky American when I say rabbiting? That's okay.
So this bearing rides around the, I'm coming from the back side to do this. This bearing rides around the inside of the frame. Now what it does do is it leaves a rounded corner.
So let's point to that.
Yeah, you've got the rounded corner. I just took a miter saw and clipped the corners of this. We dropped the panel in from the back, and then what we did, we went to a table saw and took, let me cut a, we just went to a table saw and made just a little bit of a cut like that, so that that molding, see how now the molding sits on top of the frame?
So let me just
different
show
look.
that so we can see it actually right there. This is the little mark out right here. So you're going to take that little piece out of the back.
Yeah,
creating almost a shelf.
Totally accurate, but yeah,
Right.
just it's basically it's another rebate.
Yep, exactly. And what that ends up leaving us with is this little dimension right there where we're
Can we
hanging
hold
on
them
there.
two up side by side so they can see the difference?
Yep. All right, let's do it right by side
Can we
by
do this
side.
real quick here?
Just throw it this way. Bring them edge to edge so we can see them
great.
close.
Yeah, great.
So here, put your finger right on that profile and show us how close you are.
So there, yeah, this is maybe at the most an 1/8 inch proud of the face.
Yep.
And the other one is lipping over.
Which you can see right there.
Yeah, we've got all that.
Okay.
So it's a total different look. And by the way, when I've rebated those edges, it's actually a little bit more forgiving because now I'm laying over the frame. And sometimes I'll take and actually nail those pieces together and then drop them in.
And on the back side, the result is, if I can flip it this way just a little bit, in terms of what's proud and not proud. So here, our first one, the ply is completely coming off the back.
Yep.
Full. Here, we've set it in. It's not, would you like to get flush with those two, or do you care?
You don't have to. If I'd used 1/4 inch plywood, then I would have been flush. But again, I'd rather have the 1/2 inch plywood.
That would have been right there flush versus that right there. And I'm just going to turn it to you guys so you can see the difference right there, where it is dropped into the rabbet in the back versus sitting, where am I? There I am, sitting onto the back right there. Cool. All right. And in either case, why don't you hold that one?
Sure.
Brent, why don't you hold that one for us right there? In either case, this is a darn good looking piece of wainscot right there. That principle, everything that you just taught us right there, we can now use for a whole variety of different projects.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about some of those.
Let me grab this piece back here real quick, because this is a classic example of something that we would do, and with just a little bit of imagination. Now, again, the great thing I talked about using different moldings, this is just a slightly different molding. Still just a great look. Again, Windsor One has lots of options for great moldings. This would be like a pilaster leg on a mantle, or you could take 4 of these and put them together, a box newel. We've done some great looking box newel posts, a very traditional detail. If you grow this thing, it can become that column that you wrap, those steel posts that are in basements all the time. Put 4 of them together, it goes that way. Or what we call a pilaster, which is just a part of a column on a wall. It's a great detail around like the front door or something.
Same principle applies. Whether it's tall, whether it's twice as wide, whether there's 4 of them joined, it's just the same principle with all that stuff.
Hey, I'm from Arkansas. I got to keep it simple.
With an English accent. All right.
There's also one other molding sample back there that I forgot to bring in. Sorry. Because there is yet another option. These are called Belection moldings, by the way. And see how this really steps proud, gives you great definition. We'd also, something we haven't talked about.
Can you show us what this molding looks like before it goes into?
Oh, excuse me, I'm not showing you, I'm showing the camera.
That's all right, so we see that. So that little lip right there, that's coming off that side. Look at you.
It's gonna sit like that.
One more of these, you're gonna be on TV, pal.
I don't know. So yeah, and then of course underneath here is where the panel actually is. The other thing that we haven't mentioned is to finish this up, there's going to be some sort of a molding on top, and I don't know if we've got room to show it back there, but that is one thing if you're doing a wainscot project, you have to allow for some extra thickness at the doors because by the time you add all this, but what's not to like about adding a little more molding around your door?
That's pulling your casings outside and
Back
topping all
band,
that.
yeah, something like
Got
that.
it.